Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something pretty much everyone struggles with at some point, right? Giving feedback.
Oh, yeah, that conversation.
Exactly, you know the one. Where you've got something important to say, maybe some crucial input, but you're bracing yourself because it so often turns into, well, a bit of a battle.
Defensiveness kicks in. Feelings might get hurt.
And nothing actually changes. That's the frustrating part. Sound familiar?
Definitely.
So our sources, and we're looking closely at some fresh insights from Phoenix Performance Partners today, they really highlight the core issue here. A lot of what we call feedback is actually, well, unsolicited advice just dressed up.
And unsolicited advice almost never lands well. Resistance is almost guaranteed.
Right. So our mission on this deep dive is to explore what Phoenix Performance Partners presents as honestly, a game-changing power. It's a neuroscience-backed approach that can totally transform these conversations.
It's fascinating stuff.
And the twist is, it's not that people inherently hate feedback. The problem is how it's delivered. We're diving into what they call the permission principle.
It's a challenge you see everywhere in all sorts of workplaces. Traditional feedback just often misses the mark. And it misses the mark because, as the source material says, people can really only receive feedback they've consciously agreed to hear.
Consciously agreed. That's interesting.
It is. There's that Richard Moss quote, "The greatest gift you can give another person is your attention." In feedback, that attention translates to respecting their choice, their autonomy.
So it's more than just manners.
Oh, much more. This isn't just about being polite, though that helps. It's fundamental human psychology. It's how our brains actually work. I think you're going to have some real aha moments today. Once you see this, it's hard to unsee it.
Oh, wait, let's unpack that then. Why do we have that gut reaction, that resistance when feedback just gets dropped on us? Even if, logically, we know it might be useful.
Yeah, we've all been there, right?
Huh.
Someone starts giving you input you didn't ask for, and your brain just screams, "Nope."
Totally. Before they even finish.
Well, that response taps into a really fundamental truth about us psychologically.
Yeah.
We resist what we don't choose. It's that simple and that profound.
We resist what we don't choose.
Exactly. So when someone jumps in with, like, "Hey, you need to be more strategic. Here's what I think you should do," without asking first, it doesn't feel like help.
Feels like an attack, almost.
Precisely. It triggers those defense mechanisms. Your brain basically flags it as a potential threat, and boom, the learning center's just shut down. It's not about being difficult. It's pure neuroscience playing out.
You keep mentioning neuroscience. That's where this gets really, really interesting for me. How does this permission principle, this Phoenix Performance Partners approach, actually work with our brains? What's the science making it so effective?
That is the absolute crux of it. Asking for permission isn't just a nicety. It's like flicking specific switches in the brain that prepare someone to actually listen and learn. The source material breaks it down into 4 key neurological benefits. First up, safety first. When you ask permission, "Hey, would you be open to some thoughts on that meeting?" You're sending a non-threat signal.
Right. You're lowering the defenses.
Exactly. It keeps the amygdala, the brain's little alarm system, calm. And a calm amygdala means the prefrontal cortex, your thinking, learning, rational brain, stays online and active.
Ah, okay. If the amygdala freaks out, the thinking brain just checks out. Fight or flight.
You got it. No learning happens then, just survival mode.
Makes sense. What's the second benefit?
The second one is autonomy activation. This is huge. When someone makes the conscious choice, says, "Yes, I'm open to hearing your thoughts," it actually activates the motivation centers in their brain.
So it's not just passive agreement.
Not at all. It gives them a sense of agency, of control. And that feeling dramatically increases the chances they'll actually do something with the input later. They feel empowered, not, lectured at.
Okay, safety first, autonomy activation. What's third?
Third is curiosity engagement. That yes often does something really cool. It triggers the brain's reward networks. It makes the brain curious.
Curious, not defensive.
Exactly. And curiosity promotes neuroplasticity. That's the brain's amazing ability to rewire itself, to form new connections. So asking permission literally opens up the brain to learning, to growth, to new ways of thinking.
Wow. Okay, so it actually makes the brain more flexible.
In a very real way, yes. And the fourth benefit ties it all together: ownership creation. When someone agrees to receive feedback, they're not just a passive recipient anymore.
They're invested.
They're invested. They take ownership of the conversation, the insights, the whole process. It becomes their development, something they chose, not something forced on them.
That's powerful.
It really is. So you see, this isn't some soft skill. It's a strategic approach grounded in how our brains are actually wired to learn best.
That's incredible. Shifting the brain state from defense to learning with just a question. And Phoenix Performance Partners makes it practical with this three-step permission framework. Let's break that down. Step one, ask for permission.
Seems simple, but the wording matters.
Right. You're not just blurting out, can I give you some feedback? That can still feel a bit like, uh-oh, here it comes.
Puts them on the spot, yeah.
Instead, the language is more like an invitation. Things like, I have some observations about that project. Would you be open to discussing them? Or maybe, I noticed something in the meeting that might be helpful. Are you interested in hearing about it?
Or even just, would you like some input on how that presentation came across?
Yeah, those feel different. They feel respectful. They offer choice right from the start. They're invitations, not demands.
And that invitation leads straight into the crucial step 2. Wait for a conscious one. Yes. And honestly, this is where people often stumble.
Assuming silence is a yes.
Exactly. Or taking a hesitant little nod as full agreement. You can't do that. You need to actively look and listen for a clear, conscious yes.
What does that look like?
Well, verbally, it's pretty clear. Yes, I'd like to hear it, or sure, I'm open to that. But you also need to pay attention to the nonverbals. Are they making eye contact? Is their posture open? Are they leaning in a bit?
Signs they're actually engaged and ready.
Right. Vital signs of readiness. And here's the critical part. If you don't get that clear yes, if they hesitate, look away, cross their arms, or even say, maybe not right now,
You have to respect that.
100%. You absolutely must respect their choice.
Yeah.
Just say something like, okay, no problem. Maybe we can chat another time if you feel it would be helpful. Pushing past a no, or even a maybe, completely undermines the trust you're trying to build.
Destroys the safety you just tried to create.
Instantly. All that effort, gone.
Okay, so get the clear yes, build that safety, then what? How do you actually give the input without sounding judgmental? That's step 3, right? Frame as your perspective.
Yes. This is all about how you deliver the observation. You always frame it from your point of view.
Using phrases
Like from my perspective, or what I experienced during the presentation was, or maybe my observation is.
Why is that framing so important?
Because it keeps you out of the trap of sounding like you hold the ultimate truth about their experience or their intentions. You're not saying you are this way. You're saying, this is how I perceived it.
So it's offering data, your data, rather than a verdict.
Precisely. It's valuable input, your unique lens, but delivered in a way that invites them to reflect on it. It encourages them to connect the dots themselves, instead of you telling them what the picture is.
Makes it much less likely to trigger that defensiveness again.
Much less likely. It keeps the conversation collaborative.
Let's make this really concrete. The source material has a great example, right? Marcus and Jennifer.
Yes, it's a perfect illustration. So Marcus needs to talk to Jennifer about how she, tends to dominate team meetings.
Okay, a common scenario. The old way.
The old way, the unsolicited advice approach, might sound like. Jennifer, you need to give other people space in meetings. You talk too much, nobody else gets a word in.
Ouch. Yeah, I can see Jennifer shutting down immediately. Defensiveness, justification.
Exactly. Feeling attacked, misunderstood. Probably zero positive change comes from that.
So how did Marcus handle it using the permission principle?
Okay, so Marcus starts with step 1, asking permission, creating safety. Jennifer, I noticed some dynamics in our team meetings that I think could be worth discussing. Would you be open to some observations?
Nice and neutral, an invitation.
Right. Jennifer feels respected, she has a choice, and she says yes. Then Marcus moves to step 3, framing his input carefully. From my perspective, when you share multiple ideas one after the other, it seems like others sometimes hesitate to jump in. I'm just wondering if you've noticed that pattern.
From my perspective, and I'm wondering if... Very different feel.
Totally different. And the outcome. It was remarkable. Jennifer didn't get defensive. She actually got curious.
Curious, not defensive.
Curious. She started reflecting. She explained her intention was actually good. She hated awkward silences and was trying to keep the energy up. She genuinely hadn't realized it was silencing others.
So the permission and framing opened the door for her own insight.
Exactly. And because it wasn't an attack, they could then work together collaboratively on strategies. How could she contribute her enthusiasm and make space for others? It turned a potential conflict into a problem-solving session.
That's a night and day difference. It takes what we often label defensiveness and shows it might just be a reaction to how we approach things.
It absolutely does. It shifts the whole dynamic from confrontation to collaboration. Partnership, really.
Okay, so that Marcus and Jennifer story really drives it home for one-on-one.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a ripple effect. How does this play out more broadly, like across a team or an entire organization?
Well, when this permission-based approach becomes the norm, not the exception, it starts to change the whole culture. It creates this positive ripple effect.
What kind of ripples are we talking about?
Several key things start happening. First, trust increases massively. People feel their autonomy is consistently respected, which builds psychological safety.
Makes sense. Less fear.
Right. Which leads to the second ripple. Defensiveness decreases.
Mm.
Input feels helpful, not threatening, so people are more open to honest conversations.
Which must mean
Learning accelerates. Individuals are actually primed and ready to hear things, to grow. They start seeking out input because they trust the process.
and that ownership piece comes back in.
Absolutely. Fourth ripple.
Mm-hmm.
Ownership grows. People are choosing their development path, so they're way more committed to following through. And a final, maybe most important ripple.
Stronger relationships.
Relationships strengthen. All of this, the trust, the respect, the open communication, build much healthier, more productive connections between people.
We actually have a quote about that, don't we? A client testimonial.
Yeah, it's really powerful. Someone said, when my manager started asking permission, I actually began seeking out their input. I knew they respected my autonomy, so I trusted their observations. Seeking it out. That's huge.
Wow. From avoiding feedback to seeking it, that's transformation. And this applies beyond just performance chats, right?
Oh, definitely. Think about team meetings. Instead of just stating an issue, try. I have some observations about our workflow. Would the team be open to discussing them?
Okay, collective permission.
Or performance reviews. Frame it as, I'd like to share some thoughts on your development this year. What areas would you most like input on right now? Put some in the driver's seat.
Nice. What else?
Project debriefs. I noticed a few patterns in how this project unfolded. Would it be helpful if we explored those together? Collaboration, not blame.
Even difficult conversations.
Especially difficult conversations. You could start with, this is obviously a sensitive topic, and I want to handle it in a way that's most constructive for you. How would you prefer we approach this discussion?
Giving them control even when the topic is tough.
Exactly. It shows respect right when it matters most. The principle is incredibly versatile.
It really seems to be. Which leads us perfectly into a challenge for you, the listener. We're calling it the permission challenge.
Try it out this week.
Yeah, really give it a go. See how it feels to shift your approach. It's not about a massive overhaul, just some small, really intentional changes based on this principle.
So how should you approach it?
Think about it in 3 phases: before, during, and after. Before you even think about giving feedback, pause. Set your intention. Is it truly to elevate this person or just to vent or correct? Aim for elevation.
Good distinction.
Then plan how you'll ask for permission. Choose one of those inviting phrases we talked about and mentally prepare yourself. What if they say no or not right now? Be ready to genuinely respect that choice.
That respect piece is non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Then, during the conversation, ask clearly. Wait for that conscious yes. Watch the body language, listen for the tone. Once you have it, deliver your input using that crucial, from my perspective, framing.
And stay curious.
Yes. Keep it a dialogue. Ask questions about their view, and then, after the conversation, take a minute to reflect. How did that feel compared to the old way? For you, for them.
Notice their engagement level.
Exactly. Notice a difference. And then adjust your approach for next time based on what you learned. The sources suggest, and we hear this too, that leaders are often genuinely amazed by the change in receptiveness.
It could feel like unlocking a door that was previously bolted shut. Give it a try.
Please do.
You know, this whole approach from Phoenix Performance Partners, it really flips the script on the fundamental question we ask ourselves as leaders or colleagues.
Instead of, how can I give better feedback?
Right. Instead of that, the question becomes, how can I create the conditions where people actually want to receive my input?
And the answer is surprisingly simple.
It is. That simple, profound act of asking permission first. It respects their autonomy, it creates safety, and it transforms feedback from something done to them.
Into something done with them. A partnership.
Exactly. A true partnership in growth.
And that really brings us back to the ultimate goal, doesn't it? It's not just about tweaking behavior or hitting performance targets. It's bigger than that.
It's about human flourishing.
Yes. When people feel genuinely elevated by the feedback process, when they feel seen, respected, in control of their own journey, they don't just perform better, they become better, more capable, more confident, more engaged.
And that positive change doesn't just stay with them, it ripples outwards. It benefits their team, the whole organization, even their life outside work.
It's a profound shift, starting with one simple question, something to really reflect on in all our interactions. Until next time on The Deep Dive, keep exploring what helps us connect and grow, both effectively and humanly.